Alright, so Exorcist Believer is the newest installment in the Exorcist sequels, because this film is a sequel, but it also treats itself as a special sequel to the first one, to the original one. And before I get into the review, I want to flashback to the first ever Exorcist. I thought that movie was phenomenal, because it delivers every tiny little elements of horror in there, but it also focuses on the characters, so it really makes you care about the characters that were in the film, the original film. Now, when I know that they were gonna make another reboot, a reboot that really connects to the first one, I was pretty excited, I really wanted to see what they would do in a direct sequel. So I was pretty excited about the announcement. Then the trailers came out, and it really didn't surprise me. I thought the trailers were very bland and very flat, and from that point, I was afraid about how this sequel would turn out. Was it gonna be bad? Was it gonna be good? I didn't know at the time. Now, checking on the final product, I am sorry to report to you that this sequel is exactly how I would imagine it, I really know that this movie would be bad, but not this level bad, This is really a bad Exorcist film, and I'll tell you why. But before that, I should give you a really brief story elements that are in this film. Now, to differentiate itself from the first one, instead of one person getting possessed, now there are people getting possessed. And the first half of this film is an investigative story involving finding these kids, And I was fine with that. I respect that they're trying to make this unique and also very different from the other installments of The Exorcist. And with the first act, I was pretty okay. I enjoyed the film until it became a legacy sequel. Now, this being a legacy sequel and also includes a legacy character, it would be fine. But the thing is, if you remove that character entirely, the narrative wouldn't change even a bit, So if you really erase that character, the story would feel and be the same. So it felt unnecessary. Her character here, Chris McNeil, was really underused and unnecessary. But it gets worse from there, because she is only in the movie briefly, and then she gets blinded. And that's it. That's the end of her character in this film. But I want to move on to the positives for a bit, because I will continue criticizing this film later. The pros: Leslie Odom Jr. He plays the father of one of the possessed kids, and he is not a believer. So I really was intrigued how he would handle this possession case, how he would think about this possession, because he is not a believer, he is an atheist. And that is a very interesting point of view, to see how he would process this possession case and trying to think logically about it. I really like how they're doing with his point of view. It tells a different point of view that I find really intriguing, and I think that is one of the better aspects of this film. Other than that, man, I think there is another good aspect in this film, and that is the kids who are playing these two possessed girls. I thought they were pretty good as a child actors, and I think their performances are pretty solid, you know, as these possessed girls, and you really get to see how they're changing, you know, how their appearance changed as the possession gets worse and worse, and you really get behind this family in the story, you know. And I really like that. The child actors here are very, very good. They're giving a solid performance. But aside from that, this film feels a little bit generic, you know. You know what made the original special? The horror atmospheric tone, you know. That film really captured the feeling of horror perfectly through its cinematography, you know. It really flows very well. The presentation was there. The presentation was horrifying, haunting, and everything you want from a horror film. And at least in that film, there were some couple unsettling moments that were in there and really warns you about the presence of the demon. But in this new film, there's nothing like that. The film was shot very generically, and there was nothing to surprise you, you know. And also, even the exorcism scene didn't feel special, you know, because in the original they had this spider walk, crazy things like that, and I really enjoyed it. But in this new film, there's nothing happening in the exorcism scene. There's nothing crazy that a demon would do in an exorcism scene, you know. So the exorcism scene was very flat, and with that cons, I really find that this movie is really flat and it is really generic. So with that in mind, I will give Exorcist Believer a 5.5 out of 10. See you on the next video. If you have seen this new Exorcist film, what do you think? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Tell me in the comments. Feel free, and see you on the next video.